My mom left me when I was 6 months old, so she abandoned me. I ran away from Delta State because I was living with my aunt at that time, and she was maltreating me a lot. You can see the mark. If it's possible, you can zoom it. This is when she poured hot water on my hand.
Your stepfather used to sleep with young girls, okay?
And I heard that he also slept with his cousin at that time, and they had to do some cleansing. As I came, told me, oh, so now they tell those girls, no, they not come my house again. Since you know what make I get all these girls to sleep with again, I go sleep with you now. Now you go be my wife. Just I thought he was joking. Then he closed the door.
Your stepfather?
Yeah, my stepfather. He closed the door, pull his clothes, and he was like, climb the bed now, climb the bed now. So I was scared. At a point, I was scared to obey. And then we start fighting. He was on the ground, I was up. I was pressing his neck, he was pressing my neck. Then my blood started together. So the stress was pressing me so hard, and my blood was coming together like this. I can feel that my breath was fainting.
Hello, guys. Welcome to another episode of the X Story Show. On this show, we bring people on board to share their stories so that other people can learn from their past mistakes. And my name is Israel Onodari. And on today's episode, I have here with me
Precious Odugo.
Precious what?
Odugo.
Okay, so I can simply call you Precious, yeah?
Sure.
Okay, so Precious, what is your most heartbreaking experience ever?
Okay, that will be the death of my father and how it was broken to me by my aunt.
Okay.
That was at that time I was 6 years old. I went to visit my dad. I didn't stay with my dad.
Okay.
My mom left me when I was 6 months old, so I didn't get to see my mom till I got to 6 years old.
Wait, 6 months old?
Yes.
Okay.
So she abandoned me
Oh.
when I was 6 months old. So I know my dad at that time took me to one of his sister's place to live. So I had Pashoko. Pashoko is those children that have big head, big tummy, and a tiny leg, because I was being fed Gary at that time when I was a baby. So my grandmom actually told me this story because, of course, I was still young. So when she went to visit to see me, and then she saw me in that state and she took me. So ever since then, I lived with her till I was 6 years. But I do sue my dad only when I'm hungry. That's when I see him. I go to his shop because he was a carpenter at that time.
Okay.
And well, my dad do love me, but of course we don't have this parental this thing, boy.
Okay.
So when I got to his shop this fateful day, it was unlike him. So when I got there, I didn't see him in that shop. And somebody that was his neighbor told me that, your dad has not been around for like 3 days now. Okay. Because if they see me, they already know that I'm my father's daughter because we are both black together. Okay. My mom was fair in complexion. I just took from my father's side. Okay. And then I decided to go to his house. And when I got there, I knocked, and then I heard a fainted voice that's coming. And I went in. I saw him on the bed, coughing and looking very tired and very slim, very tiny. Okay. And when he saw me, he said, "You are hungry, right?" Because I'll only meet him when I am hungry. And I didn't get to call my dad. I call him by his name, Tony or Ace, because I didn't have this parent. I wasn't brought up with both parents, so it was difficult for me to call anybody dad. As a matter of fact, I learned how to call somebody dad in Yoruba land, in Lagos, at Isolo, the church I lived, but that's a story for another day. It was the elderly people there, the Yoruba people, that you don't call somebody 50 years old woman auntie, call that person a mom and a dad, and I learned for them, so shout out to them. And so yeah, when I got there, he told me, "Are you hungry?" And I said, "Yes." So he stood up, he struggled from his bed. I knew something was wrong, and he took me out. We bought Awusa granite because I do love Awusa granite at that time. And we went back. He told me to sit beside him. I sat beside him, and then he was crying. And in my mind, I was like, "Why is this person crying?" Because I talk in my mind. I don't voice out vocally. I just say everything in my mind. And then after that, he told me he asked me if I want to go because I was not comfortable. I was eating the groundnuts little by little because I wanted to share with the other children, the other grandkids that my grandma was taking care of at that time. We didn't have food. And then he said, "Okay, if you want to go, take everything in the house. He had rice, maybe like, let's just say 1 cup of rice at that time.
Okay.
Rice, Maggi, all these little things. He just told me to empty the container. And I was so excited. I'm bringing food to my grandmom and all that stuff. And then I left. And he was crying while he was looking at me, but I didn't know what was wrong. But I know something was wrong. But I didn't know that was going to be the end of
Okay, you
the
were
scene.
6 years at that time.
6 years at that time.
Okay.
And then he left. I left rather. And then the next day, 2 days later, I was dancing with the other kids, Celine song to be precise, I can remember. We were just playing outside. And then my aunt, she was sent a message to my grandmom that my father had died inside the house 2 days ago. So she was sent to tell my grandmom to bring me. But instead, from afar, when she saw me from afar and she was coming, she was like, I'm going to speak Yoruba because it was Yoruba she spoke.
No problem.
And she was like, Wogbeha. Wogbeha. And that means that you are dancing. Your father is dead. You are dancing. So that moment, I know what death was. So yeah, I know that people do die. And that moment, I just stood. I stopped dancing and included the children around. And when my grandmom heard our voice, my grandmom cried out and was telling her in Yoruba, why are you telling her that her father is dead? And then she was like, they say me you bring her come. Our papa had already died 2 days ago for inside house. And that was heartbroken, reminding me of that incident. And my grandmom took me. We went. Because my dad was young, they had to keep him in the mortuary. I actually saw him the last time, and yeah, I was buried, and yeah, that was it. And of course, the brothers, everybody promised to take care of me, and they never did.
They never did.
They never did. And as a matter of fact, it's been 18 years now. They don't know if I exist because I ran away in 2007 from Delta State, where my auntie was maltreating me at that time.
Okay.
Because there, when my dad died, I was still living with my grandmom.
Okay.
So I remember my grandmom would take me to my father's brother's place and say, you promised to take care of this girl, you promised to put her in school, and you never did. Not even food to eat and all that. Sometimes they will give us 500, they will give us 200. At that time, that was 2002, 3 or so.
Okay.
And then you come back and all that. Sometimes we'll be drained. Every fall, we drain me and my grandma. Then in 2000, my grandma was all that I had at that time. Then in 2003, my grandma had a stroke and he died. Now, that one is also a very heartbreaking moment for me as well. When my grandmom had that stroke, I remember what happened. She was taking 2 of her kids to go give birth to my aunt. One of them is physically challenged, and I don't know what happened. She fell, she collapsed, and that was how she had that stroke. And immediately she had that stroke, the rest of our children came to take our children from her.
Okay.
Because we were 3 living with my grandma.
Okay.
My grandma was young, very young, because I was born. I'm not gonna tell you guys my age, but yeah,
it's okay.
Yeah, I'm not. I just have this younger look, but yeah. So they came to take the children and they left me with him because they thought that you can, people that have stroke
Infection,
can be
infected.
Yes. So they took their children and they left me with her. I remember we went to different states in Delta State to treatment, different villages. We went to.
Wait, all through this time, your mom didn't reach out?
No, we have not heard from my mom. From.
Even when your dad died and all of that?
Yeah, she's not aware of it. We didn't hear from my mom, including my grandma, didn't hear from her at all. They were just taking her to different states and I was at different villages. I was going with her. I will clean her. I will go look for food. Sometimes we don't have food to eat in Ovadi. I will go to the bush to look for green pepper that you can slice inside gari and palm kernel, and then I will feed her. I also feed myself at that time. Then after some time, they brought her back, and the man that was treating her was massaging her. Said, oh, I don't think we can treat her more than this. Then we took her to her sister's place. I don't know why I always see them before they die. Then the day she died, I was passing through the window where my aunt said I should go, because now I'm not living with my aunt, while she was living with her sister where they were treating her. And as I was going, I saw her on the floor from the window. Then I ran in and I tried to lift her up, shouting her name, Onuke, Onuke, because we do call her Onuke by her daughter's name.
Okay.
And then the next day, she also died.
Died.
Yeah, she died.
Okay.
And the rest, it has become, it was a roller coaster. Life was.
You mentioned to me that at a point your stepdad tried to rape you.
Yes. So in 2007,
Okay.
December to be precise, I ran away from Delta State because I was living with my aunt at that time and she was maltreating me a lot. You can see the mark. If it's possible, you can zoom it. This is when she poured hot water on my hand.
So your aunt poured hot water on your hand.
Yes.
Why?
Because first of all, she told me to go boil the hot water at that midnight by 12.
Okay.
They had kids, by the way. And I went into because the kitchen is outside. You know, these village houses, the kitchen was outside. And when I tried to take the water, I brought it to her. She said, "Oh, what took you so long? I asked you to go and boil the water. You didn't go immediately." Then she poured the water on me. And there are days she will put my uniform inside water because I don't want me to go to school. And I don't go to school often. I hawk many things for her. I hawk different type of things. Then
But our own children, did they hawk too?
because our children is, of course, they don't usually maltreat their kids.
Oh, so
Yeah. So
wow.
I ran away to meet my stepfather. By the way, I never knew that I had a brother till when I was, I think when I was 9 years.
Okay.
That I know that I had a brother. They had come to visit. Then my grandma was still alive and all that. So I ran and I met him in Lagos, in Ikotu. Now, I lied to him that my mom, because I've had many stories about him sleeping with young girls and all that.
Okay, your stepfather used to sleep with young girls.
Yes,
Okay.
girls and all that. And I heard that he also slept with his cousin at that time and they had to do some cleansing. So I've had stories like that.
Okay.
Yes. So when I got to Lagos, Ikotu, it was one that came to pick me at the bus stop because I ran. And
Okay, from that your sister that was maltreating you, ran to meet somebody that sleep with small girl.
I have no choice now.
Okay.
In 2004, I didn't tell you that part. In 2004, we have heard from my mom.
Okay.
Yeah, so my mom was sending money for my auntie to take care of me, but she was not using the money to take care of me.
Oh.
She would buy things I would hawk for her.
Where was your mom?
My mom was in Spain when we heard from her.
Oh, really?
Related to her story, she said she passed through the land, through the sea.
Oh, okay, more like road.
Yeah, first set of people that must have traveled by road.
By road.
So yeah, she tried her possible best to make it up to me. So she was sending money for school fees. She sent Nokia 3310. That was the first ever. I remember that time when my auntie wanted to take money from her, she would take me to a landline where they used to call. Then she would hold my ear and she would tell me what to say. Tell your mother say you the shop. I say at the shop. Tell your mother say you dey go school. I dey go school. Like this what we were doing. So when my mom heard about it, from the third born, the one that followed my mom, told her. Then my mom said I should go and stay with my stepfather. That was when I had the connection with him.
Okay.
So my mom had communicated to him that he should come and take me. So in 2005, he took me to Lagos. Then in 2006, my mom asked him to bring me back. Now, something was weird because that 2005, I was living with that man. My mom would tell him to give me the phone. And my mom would be asking me some weird questions like, if you don't mind, I can...
No, sure.
That, you did see your period. But I didn't know what that was, that period. Because I think she was being protective to know when to... Because he knows the man very well.
Okay.
So she was being protective to know when to let me go back to
go back. Okay.
So I was confused because I didn't know what was happening at that time. Then after that, my stepfather would ask me, what did your mama say? Because my mom would tell me, don't say anything to him.
Okay.
Then I would say, oh no, he just asked me a random question and all that. Then in 2006, my mom asked him to take me back to Delta. So I went back to Delta. And at that time, I'm not living with my step-grandfather. The story is long because I had a step-grandfather.
Okay.
Then I was living there. And after some time, from 2006, 2007, we heard that she's dead, that she had cancer.
Your mom too?
Yes, so they called. They called and they said, oh, so person is dead and she had cancer. Should we bring her corpse. Of course, we don't have such money. But we did get to see. They just told us. So we don't know if it's true or if she's still alive or not. Though I've searched on...
Up to now?
Up to now. I've searched on Facebook. I've typed different names. Her name is Brandy. And I didn't see anything. So I just believe that maybe she's actually, dead. Because we were told on the phone.
Who called?
Somebody, maybe her friend, I don't know, from Spain where they were, and they said, oh, this person is dead, she died, she had cancer and all that. That was...
And your dad too died of cancer?
He should, cancer of the lungs, because he smokes a lot. My dad is a chronic smoker, that I can say. And then that was the history. So I had to start living with my step-grandfather asked me to leave his house because of the trouble from my aunt, the other one that was maltreating me, because she think that my mom is still sending money. She's fighting everybody that I live with, because anybody that I live with, she just assumed that my mom is sending money because she was receiving money at that time. So I had no choice but to go back to her. Then in 2007, around November, she gave birth. I followed her to the hospital at Saple. I remember vividly where she had operation. I suffered with her in that hospital. And then we came back home in Ogara, precisely, Etup West. She started, and I know each time she's quarreling with me or she wants to abuse me, she will always say, see as you black, the way you take black, so now so your might take black. As your part take die, and so you could take die. I mean, she's always reminding me of how my dad died, and you get to die that way.
And she was the one that announced that thing back then? Was she the one that announced the death of your father to you when you were small?
No, it was...
Okay.
Yes. So she keep reminding me that as you black. So at a point I was like, I've been not true say I be devil, because I never knew that devil, maybe devil is actually black, know. So she will be saying these things and I'll be rejecting it back to say that. They should say you will die, the way your party done, I say you go to die, life with this. She will just be cursing and all that. So one fateful day, I was 14 years old when I made that decision to run away. That was in 2007. Then I said, I'm going to run. So she sent me to go and buy something for her. I saw her son coming. I gave the son the thing. I already packed my bag, my clothes inside a nylon bag, hide it. And then when the son was coming, I gave the son the money and I said, tell your mother that I'm coming. That was how I left. So I went back to Lagos. I had communicated with my stepfather through somebody else's phone that I'm coming. That my mother, he's not aware that my mother is dead.
Okay.
That my mother said I should come. Then it was like, why did your mother call me? I said, because my mother was scared, because, he told you to return me, so she was scared you might not accept. And I did that because I want him to feel like I'm still under somebody. So in case he want to do something tricky, she will remember that,
Okay.
So in 2007, then in 2008, December, I say, what is happening? They later find out that my mom is dead. Then it was bringing girls to sleep with. There was a particular girl that he brought. That girl was 14 years old. I remember...
14 years old?
Yes.
How old is the man?
It should be, at that time, that guy should be like 40 something.
So 40 years old man was bringing 14 years old girls to sleep with and younger girls?
He's a driver, bus driver. Yeah, bus, like 2 buses Kotu near synagogue. And then I already had it in mind that I know one day this thing will happen because I've heard a lot about him. And then I approached that girl, why are you sleeping with this man? And then she said that we are poor, we don't have money. And he doesn't want to help me without sleeping with him. And my mom has said that I should come to sleep with him. I remember going to the guest house and I saw the girl's house. They were actually suffering. Then I had it in mind that this thing will happen. So each time he's communicating with his friend, there's one of his friends I do come to visit. I'll put my ear in the window to see maybe they're discussing about me, maybe they're plotting and all that. Someone faithful. And he also sleeps with married women as well.
Oh.
Yes, he also sleeps with married women. A married woman have stayed with us for like 1 week. I even went to the woman's house, but I never knew because she said that the kids was her sister's kid, but was her, yeah.
Okay.
Then, one fateful day, I think the girl that I told not to come again told him about it. So he had me in mind. So he asked me to buy something for him. As I came, told me, so now they tell those girls, may they not come my house again. Since you know what make I get all these girls to sleep with again, I go sleep with you now. Now you go be my wife. I thought he was joking. Then he closed the door.
Your stepfather?
Yeah, my stepfather. He closed the door, pulled his clothes, and he was like, climb the bed now. So I was scared. At a point, I was scared to obey. I was already removing. But then I said, you be jagabana, you don't day for that, I don't run so kind of every day. No. Then I just prayed, because at 13 I have known God. So I know what is right and what is wrong. And then I remember saying that I know God has not given us the spirit of fear, but the spirit of love, power, and of sound mind. And I prayed one prayer that either ways, it's either he die or I die, but Lord, accept my soul. That was the prayer I prayed. And at that moment, the fear just disappeared. So he went to close the door. So as he was turning, I don't know, one spirit. So I just lift him up and I drop him. So we start to fight.
Wait,
I don't know how it happened.
how old were you then?
I was 15. I don't know.
15. You said a 40 years old man. Oh, wow.
I don't know how it happened. It was like paper. I don't know how it happened, but I know that God will answer prayer. That's just
Okay.
the truth. I just lift him on, I drop him, and then we start fighting. He was on the ground, I was up. I was pressing his neck, he was pressing my neck. Then my blood started together. So the stress was pressing me so hard, and my blood was coming together like this. I can feel that my breath was fainting. But I said I will not give up. We will die together. So I was pressing his neck. He was pressing my neck. I was pressing his neck. He was pressing my neck. At a point, he gave up. I said, no, you be my daughter now. I just the joke. Why go sleep with my daughter? And then I was like, you the joke and you don't naked. Which kind of joke? We the joke.
Okay, so it was already naked.
Yes, he was already naked. He was already naked in Atikotu. And then he stood up and he was like, I just the joke. Leave me out, my pikin. I said, I not be your pikin, because if I be your pikin, you not going to take advantage of me. Then I started remembering all those girls he was sleeping with, because it hurt me a lot when I hear stories of girls I've been taken advantage of, because I've almost been there. So something I wish you can just fight back. But of course, it's not everybody that can do that.
I can't
And
like you.
sometimes the fear that is in you will make you succumb. Once you let the fear go, you can fight anything. Forget they say women are weaker vessel. When you have that strength, if you carry man when he talk, drop man for ground. It's just the plain fact. And then that day, he told me to pack my things and leave his house. That is taking me back to Delta State, that I'm a witch. So he started calling people. That my auntie that broke that news that my father is dead.
Okay.
Now this Maureen say he be witch, because there was somebody that confessed in the family some years, distant family that I was in. No, she said, no, not be this one be witch. I know that he took me to my two, put me in a bus. God is good boss, and he paid. Then he told them that this girl is stubborn. Oh. If she says she wants to come down, don't let her come down. So he paid, and I was at the bus. I was just thinking where to go, because I can't go back to that my auntie that I ran away from. So I was just thinking, but I was there. Few minutes later, he came back and he said, come down, you know they go again. Then he collected the money and he said, I know if you go back to Delta, you will suffer. That your auntie, because you know about my auntie, he will maltreat you, you get pregnant and you become nothing in life. So, but you will not stay with me. I will take you to a woman that need a maid at his solo.
Okay.
So that was how he took me to meet the woman. The woman is from Abraka, Delta State, but it's from Abraka. He took me there and I was there at his solo, living with the woman as a maid. But the difference was I was not being paid. So they asked me, do you want to be paid or you want to go to school? So I said, I want to go to school. So they registered me they put me in this government school before his solo,
Okay.
Okota High.
Okay, you started schooling there.
Yes, GS1.
And after the school?
I didn't finish because the work was much. And I will clean, and I will trek down to school and all that. Then the problem was the son had a mental problem. So he will fight. His son can I call him?
Yeah, sure, you can.
His name of the son is Valentine. I don't know if he's still alive. At that time, he was 33 years old. And me, I was just 18 years old. So we were fighting. I lived with them more than a year. We be fighting. He gave me a mark. The mark is right here. He bite me one night, one day, because he bite on my back here. And yeah, so after some back and forth, but I didn't have anywhere to go. So I would sit standing, I would not go. So we just be fighting and fighting. At a point, neighbors are advising me to leave. Then the woman dropped me in Delta State. That was in 2000.
From Lagos?
Yes. I told her that I want to go. So she said, okay. So she dropped me at Ogara Junction in 2010. He dropped me and he gave me 1,000 naira. But prior to that, I have also made reservation in the school that she put me. I discussed with the principal if I can come and clean for her. Then she said, she had a daughter that just got married, that she will need me to to do maid for them, and the daughter will put me in school. So I already write the number down. So when she dropped me, after few months, I tried to save up money. Then I went back to Lagos. That 2010. So I went back to Lagos and I met the principal. I slept in the school because when I got there, I didn't see the principal. So I was in the school premises. Then the next day, I saw the principal, and then we went to the daughter's house at what was this name of this place? Yanokbaja. And I stayed there for 2 weeks. And to be honest, she will don't sit. She separated me that I should not sit on this chair. I should sit on this chair.
Oh.
Yeah, I don't eat what they eat. She would give me back of yam and just fry egg and put it. So I was eating back of yam every day. That was what she was giving to me. The bitter side of the yam. That's what she would give to me. That's human being for you. That's human being for you. You know, people don't really know your stories. They just think that people, you know, when you don't know people's story until they tell you their story.
Sure.
And you know, it was a roller coaster. At a point, I left.
Okay.
At the time, I didn't know where to go, but I know I cannot stay there any longer because there are days I don't eat. And they have money, by the way, but you know, I'm being separated. And at times, she would say, "If you take anything in this house, you are a thief." And I'm going to call my mom. In the night, she would tell me for dinner. She would say, "You can drink Gary." Why they eat chicken and all that. I eat the leftovers. Then I left. I had pray to God that night. I was sleeping on the floor because they didn't give me a bed. They gave me their store where they put their things. They just gave me space to sleep there. So after some time, I left and I didn't know where I was going. So I went back to the school, the Okota High that was. I was there and I was planning to sleep inside the school. The early morning, I would go out, probably look for where to wash plates in the bar or just beg. But yeah. And then I saw a security man who knows me. I've stayed there for a very long time, waiting for the time. And then he was going around the school compound to close. And then he saw me and said, I know you're one of the students. Initially, I just want to pretend, but my spirit said, tell him. So I told him everything about my story and all that. And he's like, oh, I have a sister that is a divorcee. He lives in one room at Ishaga Isolo. You will manage with her. I said, yes. So he put me in his bike and we went. I stayed there with the woman. Then after 3 months, of course, the woman cannot afford to feed me and her kids. So he told him to come and take me. And then he took me and like, we are many, we are 6 children in one room. There's no place, so you can sleep inside the corridor. You know this face me, I face you. They usually have a door.
Yeah.
So I was sleeping inside the corridor. Then the next morning, there's a man that I used to say, one Igbo man. He says food. I will go there to wash plate for him. Then he will give me food. So I was doing that. Then I saw a man that I knew in Anglican church because I was going to that church when I was with that woman. Then he saw me one night. What are you doing? I explained to him. Then he took me to the church. And after that, he took me to the church. He spoke to one elderly woman. And the woman said, okay, I'm going to talk to the venerable for her if they can let her sleep inside the church. And to God be the glory, they spoke to the venerable. And the wife said, oh, I'm from Delta, but I'm Delta Igbo. So why not? She can sleep. So I was sleeping inside the church at Ishaga, St. Paul Anglican Church, Ishaga Tedo. It's right there in Isolo. So I always have receipts. I don't just cap, you know. So I was there. I stayed there for 4 years. After
in the church, you're sleeping in the church
I was
for 4
sleeping
years.
in the church for 4 years. I was sleeping in short, the first 3 months that I was there, there's an incident that happened. I was sleeping in the Sunday school in a wooden chair. So I was already, my back was hurt. I said, okay, let me go to the youth church and sleep on the floor with a fabric. There's a fabric. One of them was used for decoration. So I was there, and then that night, thief came into the church. They tied the reverend because it's a vicarage. The reverend stays there.
Oh.
It's a vicarage, so they have a vicarage where their family stays. And they tied the security men. And they also tie me. They tie me like both self. And one of them also tried to take advantage of me. And that's the reason why I know that God has been there and God has been there with me. Also tried to take advantage of me. He raised my head up. So one of them, they tied me, and one of them was like, I will lie around one or two things with this girl. Then one of the thief raised my head up. I said, na small girl, na I leave her. At that time, I'm 19 or 18 because I was a local, so I was looking very young.
Inside the church?
Inside the church. Say, leave her now, na small girl, not waiting we can't do. So they started having issues. So the other one was, say, leave her, Joe. Then they left. Then the other one still came back again and lose my hand. I said, I'm going to quickly run. So he lose my hand. Of course, I pushed him and I ran. I started shouting, thief, thief. Because one of the 3 of the venerables brother, they are huge. They have chest. So I was thinking that they are not aware that there is thief. Maybe if I shout, they will come out with their chest to fight. So if I had known, because I'm very black at that time, I could have just hide in a dark place. They wouldn't see me. So I was shouting, tifo, tifo, tifo. So I was thinking, because I know that they are very grab, they used to carry weight. And then I never knew that there are more than one thief. They're like 5. Then they came. So I said, tifo, tifo. They held my arm out. So the other guy said, why you run? I said, now this guy, when he talk, say me, not touch me. He come back. Then I was saying, na lie. The guy was stubborn, he not agree. I said, not be lie. Then I bite his, and then he blow my mouth. Yeah, yeah, it was swollen. Then the judge said, stop shouting, they will arrest her, I beg. Then that guy was like, she better tell me, leave this girl. What did they worry you? So they started having issues. Then he said, I will tie you. This time around, you are too stubborn. I will tie you. Then they took me to there's another part of the Sunday school. I never knew that they even tied the reverend. If I had known, I would have just hide in a dark place, close my eye, nobody will see me. I never knew that they tied the security man, they tied the reverend wife. Hey, I saw them, they tied me. So this time around, first, I was tied like this and like this. This time around, that the same guy, Tom put my hand at my back, tie my leg together. So I know it be like boats.
Okay.
Like, say, don't look back, oh. And when it was time, one of them said, it's too hard. And I said, it's too stubborn, because he was angry that he could not take advantage of me. So that was after some time, the police came. They're losing us. I was so anxious to see those Grab people. So we went upstairs, and lo and behold, they also tied those Grab guys. If I had known, they tied them. If I had known, I would have just
Stayed.
so
That was you stayed in the church, Abby?
yeah, I was still in the church. Then I think that incident also happened, and that incident also brought opportunity. So the reverend wife that was tied now saw me. So she said she has been seeing me, because she's a principal in Ogun State.
Okay.
She comes once in a while, but her husband is in the vicarage. So she comes during the weekend to stay, then Sunday she go. That she has been seeing me, but she has not called me. So she invited me to her house. And then she was like, I've been seeing you. So I told her my story. Then she prayed with me, and she said she saw a vision that before my father died, my father cried to God and say, God should take care of me. That's why God is putting roof in my head, in any way. Yeah. So I told him about my schooling and all that. I said the distance is far and all that. And he said, okay, I'll put you in a private school. So he called one of the guy that was living in the church. We both went to, first of all, he registered me in Hillcrest Secondary School. I started from SS1 there. Then I was in promotion to SS2. I left Hillcrest because the woman said they are not teaching well. So they put me in God's Banner Secondary School. So I was in God's Banner Secondary School. I finished my school. But I was still living in the church. I was sleeping in the church. In the morning, I will just do my tie. You will not know that you'll get the struggle. So my friend will be like, let me go and visit you now. I said, don't worry, my mom will not accept. Say, my mom doesn't. They will say, come, let me come and visit you now. My friends will say they want to come and visit me, but I know I don't have a place where I sleep anywhere in the church.
Okay.
So one of them, Kelechi, she's married now. Shout out to you, by the way, if you're on TikTok. She will say, I want to come and visit you, because I will go to her place. She will give me food. Then she will want to come. I will say, my mom will not accept. They won't faithful. They are just some more courage, because I'm clean. I will tie my tie. I will wear my shoe. You will not know that I'm living in the church, and I'll be, hyping too.
Okay.
So they'll be asking me as a mom. So my mom, she's a principal and all that stuff, because I took that woman as my mom. It was one that taught me how to be respectful.
The church, the church person, Abby?
Yes, she's from Ogun State.
Okay.
She was one that taught me, because I will call a grown-up person, 60 years old, my auntie. She said, no, in a Yoruba land, you call them mommy, you call them daddy. So I had to learn, because daddy, I didn't even call my own daddy, but I had to learn how to do that. And so I lived there for 4 years.
So,
I wrote my WAEC there. Then after that, they changed the venerable that gave me the privilege to stay. So while they transferred them to another place, they took me to the new venerable that this girl has been here. So please, allow her. So after some time, the new venerable said I have to go. So one of the church members volunteered for me to stay with her. Mrs. Buki.
I stay with us.
Yes, AK Onions Caterer. She's a fantastic cook. She's a caterer. Shop is in his like I said, I get to my two side. Sele, shout out to her, by the way. And then I stayed with her at Isole Yakari Road. And then I wrote my
Why?
Jam.
Okay, jump.
Yeah, I wrote my WAEC. I passed the WAEC to the glory of God because they were telling me, would I have money to pay again or if you fail? So to the glory of God, I passed everything. I didn't fail. And then, I did jam. Then she registered me in Pefti Film Institute, where I studied film and television production there in Pefti
So
Film Institute.
So how did you move to Dubai?
Okay, so let me just, because the story is long, but let's just cut it deep, small.
Okay.
Then after that, I stayed with the woman in that church member. Then in 2014, I left her place. I went to do my IT at MITV at Ikeja, the Alausa. Then I was living with the Reverend, the first Reverend, people that helped me.
Okay.
I was living with her. So she was the one that actually did that to me. That I said that hurts me the most because I never expected it. And for some reasons, so now I was looking for school fees because that woman stopped paying my school fees and I'm already at my final year. And they increased the school fees. PEFT increased the school fees to 86,000. So they could not afford to pay my school fees. So instead of them to directly tell me that we cannot pay, then they just cook up story. That I came back one day, I drank Gary because food was not ready. And she said, oh, you drank Gary in my house. For that reason, you have to go. I'm like, so by 8:30 a.m., she woke me up to carry my bag and they dropped me at PWD, I remember. And they gave me 1,000 naira. So I was just there thinking my life, where will I go? No other place. So I just threw some of the clothes away and I just took a bus. While I was in that bus, the Holy Spirit told me to call my course-mates there that I've helped to go and stay with them. So I called them. They were squatting with one man like that at Mafulugu. I went there early in the morning and they were like, I told them, so, because you have been nice to us, stay. So that was how I stayed in 2014 stroke 2015. We got an apartment. We are 4 girls. Just one tiny room like that. They say, if we even like that, say, they put our leg for up because there's no space to stretch. 2 people is on the bed, 2 is on the ground. We just hang our leg. So, but of course, rent was 30,000 a year. I mean, what do you expect? So we were just there in 2015. Then in that 2016, they gave us quick notice. Now, we are girls. Everybody, they hustle. Me, I was working in a bar just to save up school fees. I could not meet up. Because they pay me 7,000. I'll come back from school and go 7,000. We need to pay bills and all that. So everybody decided to find their way. I mean, I don't have anywhere to go. And of course, God will always make a way ahead of time. There's this church I was going. I was the lead choir there. Everybody liked it. Oh, you know how to sing, blah, 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 and all that. So one of them just said, I like your voice. I like the way you sing and all that. And then, can you come and stay with me? For some, I don't know. I mean, I know God wants to help me. I said, yes, ma, I can stay with you. Say his maid wants to go. So, okay, I can stay with you. So that was when I started staying with her, Mrs. Margaret.
Okay.
So I staying with her at Ajao Estate. That was from 2016 to 2017. I launched my album, just one album. Like, I'm not saying really too genge, but I made little money. At least that's the first time I'm seeing 300,000 with my eyes.
Okay.
So they helped me. They came for me. They came out for me, and all that. So I used that money to start up small hair business and food business. By the way, they were because I was jack of all trades. I was doing hair, I was working food, I was many things, so I could not meet up. And then I lived with her. And of course, human beings will always be human beings. They will be nice, and of course, at the end of the day, they become bad. But you don't look at the bad side. I usually just look at the good side and just forgive. But this is my story. Of course, I'm going to say the bad side and the good side of them. Okay. And after that, of course, they start maltreating me again. So I remember it said that happened. I'm already 25 years old, and I was telling
back then,
like, God, how can I be 25 and I'm still suffering? I be wish true because I already, my auntie already started telling me years ago. So I had to look at myself and I say, I be wish, I don't know. I'm the one telling myself that. So I said, no, I don't think I'm a witch because witch not get this kind. You understand? There was the time I even said, I said maybe I go fly because I know say if one is straight like this, then they fly go cover. I don't fly, so I was like, I be wish. There's a point you will get to in your life, like as if you are going backward. You are not bad, but for some reasons, these are not just working out. I say maybe I be wish. And this Nigerian movie say also play because I was thinking that young girl if they suffer for Nigerian movie, we just see one rich man, we just stop. It was not coming forth. I like then I will be eating. This man will come take the spoon from my hand at 25 and be searching the food. And you carry meat. I will be looking because I have no choice. I have nowhere. I'll be drinking tea. She'll come and taste the tea. Maybe I put milk or sugar. I say, There was a time I started praying to God. I started crying. I said, God, what is my offense? But I remember the story of Joseph. Joseph went through a lot before he became who God have destined him to be. So I know that gold will not become gold until it pass through fires. In all things, I give thanks to God. And one thing I also want to encourage people is just believe in your God and follow his step. In all this thing that has happened, I didn't for one day say, let me find the easiest way. Let me go and be doing hookup, or let me go and be doing this. My mind never went there, not even a man. My mind, so if you call man name, people like say, I was just on my own, 25, 26, I'm just there on my own. And then I was just thinking many things. I have to leave this house and I don't have anywhere to go. At this point, nowhere to go. So I had a dream where I was sleeping. I had a dream, and in that dream, somebody came and said, if you want to go, it's time for you to leave and rent your apartment. It's time for you to start living on your own. Then when I woke up, I said, where will I see money? Then I said, God, if it is your will, let your will be done. Because I don't have anywhere. I'm not working. I have submit CV. I don't work out. I submit CV. The woman is not even helping me because she was working at the airport, international airport, one of the top. But I able to tell her, I said, I call the clean airport toilet. She need, of course, she want me to do her job, and she was not paying me. And then I just prayed that prayer. And a week later, I just had that faith. I was just telling people that I'm looking for a house, so even though it's safe come, but I didn't have money. A week later, I had a ministration in Port Harcourt. They called me that I should come and minister in Port Harcourt. They lodged me in an hotel in Port Harcourt. So the first money I was paid was 160,000. That's the money I saw. Then when I came back to Lagos, they invited me to another church at Lekki. I went there again. I ministered. So I was just ministering in different churches, and that was how I saved up money to rent
an
house
apartment of your own.
Yes, at Ile-Iwejibo. Rented a safe con there. That was in 2018. Then in 2019 January, I left that place. So that I'm going. I left that place. So there was no bed. I was sleeping on the floor. I slept on the floor of course, I'm used to sleeping on the floor. I live in the church, yeah. So I slept on the floor. So I was not job hunting. My mind is, as soon as I rent house, I will just get a job and I will start saving. I find work up like say, now devil. Like all this, you should say I really hear from God. I've been at my malaria I get because I don't understand why I'm going through this. I job hunted. I trek. At a point, I will be tapping people from the bus. I say, sir, I define work. Give them CV. I will have 100 naira to eat, but I will do CV of 15 naira. Then I will keep 100 naira for the days. There are some days I don't even eat. I will just stay in the house. My landlord will come to the bus. Where is this girl? Are you still alive? Why are you inside? Come outside. I will be there. Sober. Sometimes I will cry. I will speak to my international passport because I did that international passport when I went to Voice Nigeria. I was one of the top 5 that they picked for the blind audition in South Africa. So they requested for international passport. That was and after everything, of course, Nigeria will always be Nigeria. They dropped me, and when I call, say, I know they don't swap you. I'm not saying that I'm corrupt, but just what it is. So I will prophesy into that international passport. I will trek. I will trek to Aja, I will trek to Ile-Iwejibo. There are days I don't eat. I will drink water. There was a time I didn't have money to buy pure water. I had to drink water from the toilet. The water they normally use for toilet. I didn't have curiosity to boil the water. I said, well, I have to survive that night. So I drank the water and I had stomach pain for like some days and all that. And I keep praying to God. I keep believing in God. And then there was an hotel opposite Rolex called JC Gold. I never wanted to work in a hotel because I don't feel like anybody that work in the hotel, they just gave us that mentality of men we start want, and I didn't want all that drama. And then I just had a dream. I always have a dream, a positive one. Somebody tell me to go and submit CV there. I said, okay. Then I went to submit my CV. When I got there, I saw a vacancy already, but when I got there, they've removed the vacancy. But in that dream, the person told me that when I get there, if there's no vacancy, I should insist of going in. So when I got there, I didn't see the vacancy, so I insisted of going in. And when I got in, they said, oh, they've taken the job, or the receptionist job. So I wanted to turn back. And then I went, any other vacancy, they say yes, marketing. When they say marketing, I said, okay, I want to do the marketing. And then they said they needed a BSc order. So I just told myself, I said, see, I don't work for my auntie. They call me number one worker for, I can't do this job. So then later I sold myself and they gave me the job. Okay. So I was trekking to share flyer, begging people to come and drink, to come and sleep at the hotel so that they can pay me because it's based on that. And for 1 month I did well and they paid me. The salary was 30,000. They paid me 31,000. So the owner of the hotel gave me 1,000 extra because I never knew I could do
From
it.
there, how did I get to Dubai?
From there, I just went to the airport, international airport, to share flyer. Of course, they chased me away. I'm not supposed to. So I know the power that I carry because the power of death and life is in your tongue. So I prophesy that I'm going to come back to this international airport again. But when I'm coming, I will be traveling. And then I went back. Later, I told the mother that I cannot do this job, the marketing job again. It's stressful and you guys are cutting my salary. Then I quit. Then she begged me to come back, that she would put me in the receptionist part. So that was why I was not a receptionist there. And there was a guy that was traveling to UK. Hey, this is the party I'm waiting for, I'll tell you now. The guy was coming in lodge. Of course, I have a customer relation. I know how to so I was just, bros, I go reduce, take the king size now, da 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 da. And then I was like, no, I'm traveling. I want to lodge somebody that came. And then I lodged them. And then the guy he just sat down and he was just looking. I said, bros, you know what, go, it already reached 30 minutes. He said, no, I just want to rest more. Then after some time, he came to me and said, what's your name? I told him my name. He said, okay. Can you give me your number? I said, they don't start to. Person they work for 10 now. Let me say, hey, you understand? I not be. So I just gave him, but I gave him the wrong number. After I gave him, one spirit told me, you don't know where your help will come from. Give him the right number. So I said, yeah, bros, wait, I made a mistake. So I gave him the right number. Then after a week, he chatted me and said, I'm in the UK, but I'll be coming back next week. I would like to see you. In my head, hey, we've called the UK, we'll come here, I call the jump. You know, those kind of people that will always say, I'm here. So you'll be too much. I didn't answer the chat. Then later I answered. Then he said, okay, when will be your off? I said, okay, so time. Then he came back to Nigeria, lodged at Aja, and invited me. Then I went. And then we'll get talking and like, I really like the way you were, you know. Will you like to, you know, work in another country to get a better pay? And I said, if it's legit, I'll not get strength for, you know, I've heard a lot about people traveling to do. If it's legit, I will do it. Then he said, okay. Then he just called one of his friends. And then he said, okay, send an international passport. And it was Cyprus, by the way. I actually went to 2 countries in Cyprus. And that was how he just
Did it.
He did it. And then they sent my picture to the family I'll be working for as a caregiver, take care of their kids and all that. And they picked me for the Cyprus. And yeah, they sent my visa, they sent my ticket. And that was how I left Nigeria in 2019. And I left Nigeria. I had 2 years contract with the family. So because abroad, based on contract, you don't just. So I had 2 years contract. Then in 2021, I came back to Nigeria. Then in 2021, I came back to Nigeria, and just one of my friends who work traveling for people. She work traveling for people and all that. So she just said, how far, Precious? I wanted to go to Canada, but the money I brought was not enough to do Canada. So somebody said, okay, it's going to do Poland for me. I said, okay, no problem. Then my friend just called me. She worked all this traveling for people. Say, they're looking for a teacher in Dubai. You know, go like run. I said, I go like run because the money said don't finish. And that was okay. Send your this. So I sent it to her. I did an interview. Then the family called me, the Emiratis. They called me from Dubai, Nigeria. They had the interview with them on the phone. And then they sent me the visa in 2021. And yeah, that was how
I'm also, a lot of been good now.
I just came 3 days ago and Nigeria self don't change. I'm going to be, I know people will say, oh, you get to Dubai. It's also not easy. So I'm not going to.
But it's far better than where you're coming from.
Yes, and I give God all the glory. And that's why I was telling a friend of mine that she said, how do you do it? And most all the things you have been saying, you always come to pass. I said, see, if you know your God, the Bible said that a man's belly shall be satisfied with the fruit of his mouth, and with the increase of his lips shall he be filled. So you just have to wait on God. Say it can only be delayed, but it can never be denied.
I'm
not saying that
where are the families now?
Which of the families?
All those people that have been maltreating you, the aunt, the end of that.
I know they might see this video, but they've not seen me for like 18 years now. Though I plan going to Delta this December. They will still recognize me because I didn't bleach and I know doing. So my face is still there. You understand? Everything is still there. So they will definitely recognize me. You know, because I didn't change color, and all the family will have this mark. So they always. So I'm thinking of going this December to just. I don't know. Maybe I don't know how many don't die. because I used to hear that some so I don't know who's still alive, but I don't know yet if I want to go but I plan going. But yeah.
Yeah, I think your story is very inspiring because you started from more like a lost person, and now you found your path. Even with all the struggle, you didn't still break out. Yeah. So I think a lot of people must have learned from the story. Yeah, because and I know a lot of people are still going through that same route right now. So this is more like an encouragement for you that the end is always bigger than the beginning, especially when you don't give up and when you keep pushing.
Sure.
Sorry, your name again?
Precious.
Okay, Precious. Okay, thank you so much, Precious, for coming on the show. We really appreciate. And if you want to share your story, you can. There will be a number on the screen. You can drop it. And thank you so much again.
You're welcome.
All right. See you next time.